Let's go! Lace them up, crowd loud, like snow. This is Fast Break, IE Sports Radio. Your direct feed for all that is sports. Tip it off, we're live from the jump. Full court pressure when the baseline thump. NBA nights, WNBA shine. College hoops madness when it's bracket time. Men's game, women's game, every big take. One pass, one steal, one slam. Summer league dreams, fever, worldwide Olympic gold with the game on the line. From the paint to the three, from the pros to college history. Every league, every team. Fast Break brings that hardwood dream. Fast Break, run the floor, let it fly. Fast Break, touch the rim, kiss the sky. Fast Break, every league, every take. Davidson, Crooks, and Locke on the break. Fast Break, from the court to the street. Fast Break, bringing hoops with the heat. IE Sports Radio, locked in. Of course, your direct feed for all that is sports. Dentarius, Locke, locked in. Davidson, Crooks with the courtside spin. Breaking down the stars, the grind, the crown. Fast Breaks got the whole game locked down. WNBA battles, NBA lights, college rivalries, tournament nights, FIBA, Olympics, Summer League shake. If it's hoops, we got it. Fast Break. This is Fast Break with Davidson, Crooks, and Dentarius, Locke, IE Sports Radio. Your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's go.
What is good, everybody? What is good? What is good? I hope y'all like the new intro. I love it as well. Shout out to the founder, Larry B, on that new intro. I love it. I love it. I am Davidson Crooks, the Crooks process here for Fast Break here for IE Sports Radio. Your great for always sports. We live, we charge. We're going to have an awesome show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. 2 games down in NBA Finals. 2 games down. 2 games down. Tomorrow night is going to be a different beast. Going to Madison Square Garden. A lot of storylines going to come out of that. Going into that, all that good stuff. I'm going to dive in on all that here tonight. But welcome here to the show. Welcome here to the network. If you're new here, subscribe to the YouTube channel, IE Sports Radio YouTube channel. We got to get those, try and get those numbers up. Subscribe every time we go live on Sunday at 7 o'clock or a little bit later. Hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell notification. And once we go live every Sunday, ladies and gentlemen, you'll get that notification. And then you see this lady's face here and D-Locke's face here when he's live with us every Sunday. But it's going to be an awesome show tonight. We're going to get to a lot of things here tonight. Lots to talk about here. But let's get up and rolling right here. Knicks fans, how you feeling? Knicks fans, how you doing? Knicks fans, is the excitement still going through you right now? Knicks fans, y'all call that Wemby, and we all won the Spurs. And I said here last week or so, I was like, y'all kind of pump the brakes on that, because he's like one of those generational talents that you don't want to kind of make mad and he come down and just smack you down. Knicks fans, y'all called out for Wemby. Y'all up 2-0 right now. Knicks fans, how are y'all feeling right now? Because going to the series right here, and both myself and D-Locke both had the Knicks going to the finals. It was not much debate about it. You know, talked about last week. We're all the teams that could have been contenders, but we settled on the Knicks only because, you know, you kept the roster together. You added some minor pieces, but the core team's still around. If you kind of look at lay out the East for the most part, everybody else kind of made some changes here and there. You know what I'm saying? With the Knicks team, you still had continuity. You still had the coaching of Tom Thibodeau. Now you added kind of like an offensive upgrade in Mike Brown in a sense, and kind of more balanced coaching compared to Thibodeau, who kind of will play these guys 35 plus every night. At least Mike Brown, we have seen, some balance that's kind of really benefited this team being up 2-0 right now. Take, for example, going to game one for a second. Jalen Brunson went out couple times with injuries. One to his knee and one to his ankle. Did the Knicks sweat anything like that or kind of tremble in fear? No. Guys like Deuce McBride, guys like Landry Shamet, Jose Alvarado stepped up when needed to kind of keep things even plateau until Brunson came back into the game. I don't think you get that balance and stuff like that and being dependent on guys like that, last year with Tibbs. I don't think you get that. This year around, you see like Mike Brown got more confidence, guys like Shamet and guys like Jose Alvarado and all that. And you see more dependent on those guys. Like game two, for example, Shamet had I think he played 31 minutes, and Josh Hart didn't play at least 18 minutes in that game. But Shamet was hitting his shots. Shamet was playing very well, and you might get to ride with the hot hand there with Shamet in game two, and he made some key shots at certain points in the game. So this Knicks team, and then they've been playing their best. Even Jalen Brunson said after game one, talked to Lisa Salters, we're not playing our best, but one thing this team is doing, we're kind of playing with ourselves. We're playing with ourselves, we're playing tight, all push come to shove, we know what to do if the X's and O's are not going properly. Yeah, you got Scott Foster, one of the hatchet men in the NBA, reffing game one. He did a poor job, and I called it out on our Twitter account. Hey, man, good on Jalen Brunson to get on that dude. Good on him to do that because, he should be called out. I'm pretty sure he does get called out, but you got to run. Sometimes you got to talk to the refs. Hey, man, what's up, man? What's up? Because you can't let things continue to slide like that, and he thinking everything's cool. Tony Brothers, game two, same thing. Some of the calls they were making, stuff like that in game two was egregious. Like that foul on Cat in the second half when I think it was Stephon Castle, when they kind of tangled up in their arms. They called a foul on Cat. I said, they called a foul on Cat on that? So it's just like, it's just the consistency there and the rest, but the Knicks still pulled through. Mitchell Robinson, failed to mention him, having a strong game series right now, despite the injured hand. I think if he didn't injure his hand doing God knows whatever he was doing at home, I think he'd probably be more effective against the San Antonio Spurs. And Mitchell Robinson, his price is surely going up right now with each passing game. So he's going to get another double-digit contract offer here this offseason. And the chat's blown up right now. Larry B saying the Knicks sweeping. Going to dive in that here in a little bit. Could it happen the way they're playing? Yes. But I look at the other side of things, the San Antonio Spurs. You're talking about a Spurs team that came in with a lot of momentum. They beat one of their arch rivals, the Oklahoma City Thunder. You beat them in a decisive game 7. Your star player, your franchise player, Victor Wembanyama, told those boys, he put those boys on his back, put a saddle on them, and they rolled to that game 7 victory. And he fought. Not saying they were heavy favorites, but you kind of gauged they were kind of favorites. And Victor didn't play his best game in game 1. Not his very best at all. Let me pull it up real quick. I mean, yeah, Victor had 26 and 12, but 6 for 21 for the field, though. 2 for 9 for three-point land. 6 turnovers. And then you look at the rest of the stat line for those guys from game 1. Stefan cast 17 points. Julian Champagnie, who, by the way, Mitch Johnson got to figure something. I mean, he's got to figure things out. Because Julian Champagnie has come out hot multiple times in his playoffs, but somehow or another that fire don't carry over to the second half too much. You know what I'm saying? So Mitch Johnson got to figure out how to keep this flame going all the way through, and not letting this happen. Kind of like you got like a charcoal grill, the fire wick goes good for a good minute or two. Next thing you know, it's dead. Or you got like a couple coals in the corner of your grill, hot and go, and everything else in the middle and everywhere else is just, this smoky and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's Julian Champagnie. Devin Vassell has not had a good playoffs in the last round and going to this round. Stephon Castle, probably the only other consistent piece, along with Dylan Harper, that's been consistent thus far for the Spurs in the finals. After Dylan Harper, that's it. That's it. Everybody else, Luke Cornett, Harrison Barnes, Keldon Johnson, and hell, I still kind of pondering how Keldon Johnson got the Sixth Man of the Year award. I still kind of wondering. I was like, damn, what did this dude really do all year to get the Sixth Man of the Year award? Like, if you look around the league, you like thinking like, dang, was nobody else off the bench playing very well to get Sixth Man of the Year? No, I'm just thinking, just thinking out loud, No, Alex Caruso didn't come. I got to check the voting again, but Alex Caruso, this off the top of my head, Alex Caruso, who else I could think of? The Jeopardy music playing right now. Yeah, Caruso I can think of. Peyton Pitcher probably consideration, but he started too many games in my opinion. Yeah, this kind of like a weak Sixth Man of the Year field, if we're being honest. That one dude for Phoenix, I forgot the guard's name. He played pretty well until he kind of petered out. But Keldon Johnson's not playing like Sixth Man of the Year. And then the way he plays is like dudes you play at the rec center, in a sense, like the slower reads and stuff like that. The way he drives the ball, it it ain't clicking like it should. It's just like it's not clicking. So Mitch Johnson, in these 2 games, he's got to figure things out. I know he's young. I know you got pop on your shoulder here, and that's a great tool to have. But I think, as great as Popovich is and having him on that shoulder, sometimes you got to think got to think right here what you got to do. Yeah, I think he got some easy fixes that he can do to kind of turn things around. Now it's gonna be tough going to the Garden tomorrow night and dealing with that rabid fan base. But I think one thing you kind of going to Game 3, going your way is that you won't have a lot of outside noise mess with you. Now, I mean by that, President, if y'all don't know, President Trump will be at Game 3 tomorrow night. I don't know, he's gonna be sitting in the skybox or down in the crowd. Probably not, but probably sitting in the skybox to watch the game. So, and then they already told the crowd. Well, I'll dive more into that, but they told the crowd ain't be no hanging around Madison Square Garden that damn day, basically. So, if you're Miss Johnson, you kind of got to use that to your advantage. So, okay, we don't have to worry about the rabid fan base Game 3. Yeah, the fans be rowdy in the house, but how much rowdiness are we going to see inside there with the president in total Monday night? That's real talk. I mean, how much rowdiness we going to see on game 3 with the president in house? We'll dive into that more to a second. Mark saying it's looking like it. It also said we got the brooms out in AZ. Larry said, I'm impressed with Brunson. Bro is lining it up. Yeah, he's been playing very well. Despite himself not saying they've been playing very well, but he's been playing very well. And Big Brunson's been big time. Yeah. And I want to get to this comment here, like Marcus said, before I dive into Game 1, Game 2, respectively. We talked about years ago on here that, when Dallas offered Jalen Brunson to stay, and this is still at the same time they still had Luka and whatnot, and a couple other pieces. But when they offered him the contract extension, it was in a range that what they thought was market value, but I think they could have did more, if we're going to be real about that. And, Mark Cuban can say a lot of things, and he mostly is the blame how the Mavs just kind of went to the NBA Finals to picking Cooper Flag #1 overall. He's a lot to blame for it, because if you think about it, if you really think about how things are constructed with Dallas right now, should have paid Brunson. I don't say he's regretting selling the team, because it seemed like he needed the money, and he sold to the God, what's that lady's name? Someone help me out. What's that rich lady's name? Miriam Adelson. When he sold to the Allison and that family, and got a good penny for it, and then got like Patrick Dumont running the thing, basically. That's all. That was on you, dog. I mean, yeah, you can blame Patrick Dumont to kind of let Nico Harrison do the damn trade, but you know, Patrick Dumont is just a money man. If we be real, he's an extension of Marion Allison. I mean, Mark Cuban brought in Nico Harrison. If we're being real, he the one brought him in. He brought him in for Nike. He brought the other dude, I think for Nike, I forgot his name, but he let him go. And we talked about on the show years ago. I forgot the guys. I had to go look it up, but there's another dude that he hired from Nike that Luka didn't like, and then we discussed on the show years ago, like Luka didn't like the dude, and then Mark Cuban had to, let him go. So anything, like blame Mark Cuban. If you're a Dallas fan, you know, seeing this and seeing Jalen Brunson kind of rise to like a fringe top 10 NBA player, and I say fringe with all due respect, you kind of look at things now like if you kept Brunson around, do we even try to trade for Kyrie? Could that money for Kyrie gone elsewhere to kind of fill out this roster? Will Luka still be around? Okay, even if we lost Luka, we still have Jalen Brunson around. So this is kind of like a butterfly effect in a sense. If you're a Mavs fan, it's like, damn, if we just did this, did that, if we kept this guy around, whatnot, could things be different? I don't know. Time will tell. You know, Luka has as good as he played since when he's on the court for the Lakers. Time will tell us see how things will shake out for him there. He didn't play this playoff season. He's been going through a custody battle with his ex-girlfriend. Being hampered with a lot of injuries. That what Nico Harrison brought up. And why he kind of traded him. So, I mean, time will tell how things will go. But in kind of hindsight, yeah, with Jalen Brunson just kind of taking charge of New York, being a face in New York and 2 games away, leading to the New York Knicks to the NBA championship. Yeah, if you're a Dallas fan, you kind of looking sideways. And also, when the Knicks when the Dallas Mavericks made that finals a couple years ago against the Celtics, you probably kind of wish Jalen Brunson was that squad because Luka was hurt. You didn't get a lot of production from a lot of other dudes. So you probably kind of wish Jalen was there in that series. I'm not saying he probably won, but it probably would have helped. So we'll see how the rest of the series shake out and what the ramifications of that will be. And I think one thing that these NBA teams going to stop doing, they kind of stop underselling these these 3 to 4 college basketball players, because that's really what it was. I mean, what it was. You kind of underselling these college basketball guys. They stay in 3 or 4 years, play through, do the right things, mature, working in game, all that stuff. Guy becomes second round pick, in which in all reality probably should have been first round pick. If we're going to be real about that, Josh Hart was a first round pick, but everybody kind of always viewed him as like a utility player. Nothing wrong with that, but Jalen Brunson should have been a first round pick. And then he falls second round, and then you kind of undercut him in pay after he kind of showed he was more valuable in the second round pick. All right, wasting more time on shit. Yeah, Mark said, I'm impressed with Cat. Yeah, Cat's been playing very well. And Cat has recognized, let me get this out real quick. Cat has recognized that Karl Anthony Towns and OG Anunoby have kind of recognized about Victor Wembanyama. Well, recognizing they match up against Victor Wembanyama at Victor's this early stage of Victor. That if you got some size, I mean, okay, let me put it this way. Not height, but more like kind of like size, like muscle and stuff like that. I think they kind of recognize if you got that size and stuff like that, you can go and take him. Like OG's not scared. I mean, OG's like 6'8", 6'9". He's not scared to go at Victor driving the lane. If y'all really knows that, he's not really scared or worry about Victor blocking his shot. Okay, OG gets the ball in the corner. He catches and violation, then he drives on him. And he kind of outmuscles him going to the basket, in a sense. And he do his best to get advantage to get the layup. Karl, kind of same thing. So I think if you check Holmgren, for example, and if you are watching this series, you should be watching the series just to see what I could be better against a guy that don't like me. You look at it like this, okay, me and him got the same frame, but what can I do to be better? Well, these guys are driving and stuff like that, but they going with no fear. So, what we always say about these tall, skinny dudes that come to the NBA, like Durant, for example, and Nuke Bowl and all that stuff, you gotta have some muscle. Now, for Durant, he was a scorer. I don't think you won't do too much to his frame like that. But someone like Chet Holmgren, for example, you got to get in the gym, dog. You got to get some muscle to you. Yeah, I think you get some muscle to kind of be big. I don't say bigger than Wemby, but if you can do that to be better than Wemby in an advantage way, then you got to take that advantage, dog. You got to take that advantage. If you're Chet Holmgren, if you're watching this series, okay, if that's one thing I could work on is adding to my body. It's added to my body. Get some mass, get some muscle mass to myself, and kind of just work on my mental. So next time around, next year, when I'm playing against this dude, come next season, I got confidence in myself that I can take him, and he's not gonna punk me. Because I think it check Holmgren play a half-ass better in that series against Spurs. I think we're talking about the Thunder in the finals. If we're being serious. I think I'm starting to believe that because we kind of see how this finals has been going. As we've seen how this finals has been going. The bench in San Antonio ain't really all that. I just talked about that. Luke Cornett sitting there worrying about. I mean, that's the regular season, but you get my point. Sitting there worrying about Magic City and Atlanta, all that stuff, bad for the kids. Hey, dog, you starting to become unplayable. You've been kind of unplayable for the past few games. That's going back to the OKC series. Keldon Johnson kind of getting the same boat. Harrison Barnes, kind of getting long in the tooth in the NBA career. And after that, everybody else. You can forget about it. Well, Carter Bryant, he's young, but you gotta get my point. Everybody else, Bismack Biyombo, Kelly Olynyk, Plumlee, it's time to roll. They made enough money. They pump faked a lot of the teams to give them big deals. It's time for all those three guys to go do something else. And the Knicks got a better bench right now. And then Mark is saying, he's not been soft in the finals. No, he's not. And people continue to say that about Cat. And the Jimmy Butler thing did not help. But then, folks like, Bomani Jones, they still hop on that Cat is soft thing for years. And I like Bomani Jones, but he just kind of, when he harps on the thing, he just kind of just stays on it and don't get off that train. And if y'all saw this last year in the playoff run, and I put this on our show's account on X, the inside the NBA guys, they kind of like when Cat, I think, what series was it? Was it against Boston last year? Was it against Boston or the Pacers last year? I think it was against the Pacers. When he had a very good game, and Charles and all them saying like, "Hey man, this is what you should be doing on the regular," and they're giving tips on all that stuff. So I don't think like a lot of these guys were want to clown him like that and all that stuff. They want to see him succeed. They see the talent. They want him to see. They want him to succeed. When Cat was coming out years ago in the NBA in the draft, I was hoping my Lakers would get him. I was praying. This is like the post Kobe years. Well, no. I think his rookie year probably been that last year. Would been the last year of Kobe. I was hoping that Karl Anthony Towns we got the number one pick and went to the Lakers. We got D'Angelo Russell, and at that time I was kind of happy. I was happy about that because okay, cool. We get like a nice, legit young player to groom and stuff like that. And unfortunately, that did not happen. D'Angelo Russell became an all-star elsewhere. It didn't happen. And I always said about D'Angelo Russell that the first time that he got traded from the Lakers, it was bullshit. Only reason I say it was bullshit because I like if it's a locker room issue with Nick Young, fuck Nick Young, trade his ass, and you tell the young dude, say, hey man, don't do that crap again. Some of y'all probably don't know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when Nick Young was dating Iggy Azalea, and Nick Young, the dummy that he is, was talking to D'Angelo Russell about it and saying he'd been with multiple women and stuff like that. And Russell was secretly recording on Snapchat, and then that became a big old issue. And then they traded Russell to the Nets for a draft pick, and I think Brook Lopez and that draft pick became Kyle Kuzma, I believe, which Kyle Kuzma helped mature and grow to become a champion with them. But you get my point. And then Dallas is stupid. Yeah, kind of looking at now, they probably should have paid the money to Brunson, but kind of looking like how Cuban's financials been looking and stuff like that, why he sold. That's probably why he didn't want to pay Brunson. And Cat is changing Wemby's game. Yeah, one thing we're watching game one, and me and my dad watched and talked about this, like Wimby being 7'5", he thinks he can block every shot. So when cats come in the lane, stuff like that, he's looking to block. And sometimes a good defense, and you get taught this very young, is having your hands straight up. And I think with Wimby, I don't know if anybody told him that in his life, that sometimes a good defense is having straight up hands straight up and moving your body. Because what's the worst case scenario they're gonna do? They're gonna try to shoot over your 7'5" or 7'7" wingspan. That's the worst thing they can do. But now, if you kind of trying to extend, block, and stuff like that, and these cats have kind of got really good of drawing fouls and stuff like that, now you put yourself in a situation in foul trouble and all that good stuff. You don't want that. Because look what you got behind you in the bench. You know what I'm saying? Look what look what you got behind you on your bench. And I'm getting this out. Let's see. Okay, I should have done that earlier, but that's my fault. But you can't block everything when it comes to your lane. I mean, it's nice to block everything, but you can't block everything if you get my drift. And for Wimby, he's got to figure that out, and he's got to figure it out as soon as possible because you know trying to challenge everything is nice, but some of that is and for him, it's easy to have his hands up like this. If somebody driving stuff like that, have your hands up, move your feet. The worst thing they'll do is they'll call a no call, and the offensive player try to flop on you, get a foul call. But if the refs recognize that early, if those guys trying to flop and stuff like that, they ain't gonna call that type of fouls, and they got to change up their strategy. Like Larry B brought up, they got to change their game. Like, okay, Wendy ain't trying to block our shot like that. You know, he ain't trying to block our shot like that. You know what I'm saying? So we got to figure something else out to contain this dude. And then Marcus, Larry said Marcus said soft, like Kobe said, it's soft. Yeah, man. And then Marcus, laughing. Chat needs the mid-range game. Yeah. I think, well, a lot of these dudes in the NBA need a mid-range game. And that's becoming like a lost art. Not only the NBA, but the college levels too. As some of y'all know, I'm a Alabama fan. I love Nate Oates. I love how he changed things in Alabama, but damn it, having those dudes don't shoot mid-range jumpers drive me nuts at times watching them play. It really does. And then like Kevin Garnett, and he's scoring 15, scoring. Yeah, I definitely agree. That's one thing. That's one thing. We're playing as women, for example. I mean, Carl Anthony Towns can shoot the ball. We know that he got range. OG has range. Miles Bridges has range. Like when I'm talking about range, yeah, they can shoot 3-pointers, but they can come inside the arc for a good 15, 16 footer. Josh Hart, saying like all those guys in the Knicks got range like that. They do. But do these other teams do? Besides SGA on the Thunder, do all the other guys do? Not really. On the Lakers, LeBron got range, Luka, Austin. Everybody else. So the mid-range games is being a lost art. Like on the Houston Rockets, Amen Thompson. Got to work on that mid-range game. He's not a three-point scorer like that. He's got to work on that mid-range game. Like find somebody like a Rip Hamilton to work with, offseason to work on that mid-range game. Rip Hamilton, Horace Grant, who I always contend like a power forward. If you want a pure power forward, Horace Grant has always been my prime example on a championship roster team that a guy you should have. Guy that can hit like that 15-footer with ease, Udonis Haslem because of but Horace Grant, though, is just like can play defense, strong, legit 6'10". That mid-range of him is like deadly. Wherever playing off Michael or playing off Shaq, with Orlando Magic or the Lakers, that mid-range was just something just beautiful to watch. Karl Malone, same boat. But if you got being like we've been seeing online here, the 82 and 0 thing that we've been seeing online, and you're trying to figure out your roster and stuff like that. If you happen to land on the Bulls or Magic 90s, and you kind of got your star players or your best players match up elsewhere in other positions, Horace Grant if you get that power forward spot, Horace Grant be perfect for that spot. If you wind up with like Oscar Robertson from the 60s, Kareem from the 70s, LeBron from the 2000s, shooting guard, let's go with Ray Allen from the 90s, and then Horace Grant from the you're probably not winning 82 games, but damn it, you win a championship. And think about Kareem from the post right there. And if he's double team, boom, you got Horace Grant open. Boom, LeBron cutting down there. And then if the defense rotates LeBron, you kicking out to Ray Allen for a three. Or if he's not open, Oscar Robertson shoot the ball, or he's driving, he's passed back down to Kareem or finding Horace Grant open. That's a damn deadly lineup right there. And that mid-range kind of opens things up as well, too. So the mid-range game kind of circle around by the series. Yeah, that mid-range game, you're going to need that in these scenarios and stuff like that. You're going to need to. If you're the Knicks, if that three-point shot ain't falling, that mid-range game's got to be in your arsenal. It's got to be in your arsenal. So, I want to leave it on a note like that. Come out the break, go through game 1, game 2 real quick. Talk about game 3 and the surprise visit that's going to come along with game 3. But, our president will discuss how they'll affect things. But this is Fast Break here live for iSports Radio, your Greek for sports. And I'll catch you other side after this message.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the show, the broadcast here tonight. Got to put this on here. I had to brush the restroom real quick, but please follow IE Sports Radio on X and YouTube, and do follow. Go to the website iesportsradio.com. Also, if you're on Instagram, part of the Meta family. Let me pull this up. Our own Pacific page on Instagram, right here at Fastback ISR. Do follow us on there. Got a couple videos on there. Talk about game 1, game 2, and also talk about a video of why Chet Holmgren will not be leaving OKC. So I talked about that. Talk about Holmgren. I also been like for the Giannis trade, for example. Everybody trying to make a move for Giannis if he's going to be moved, and OKC being like a destination that kind of been talked about. He could be at, in which OKC, they already said that they're going to trade for Giannis. We'll see, but talk about that scenario, with him. Breaking that, like talking about game 1, game 2 immediately afterwards, after the game concludes. We'll be doing the same thing from game 3 at the Monday night, then game 4 as well, if the series concludes there. So, having said all that, let's dive into it. The 2026 NBA Finals feature a high-stakes matchup between the Knicks and the San Antonio Spurs, with New York currently with a holding 2-series lead right there. Series status, keys and results. Game 1, the Knicks win 105-95. Game 2, The Knicks 105, 104. New York has won 13 straight postseason games. And I made a mistake. I put 12 as 13. My apologies on that. I'm surprised Knicks fans didn't see that and corrected me and cussed me out. One of the biggest streaks in the NBA history. This guy makes you wonder why they kind of messed around in that Atlanta series, in my humble opinion. Let's go here. Back to game one here for a second. Pull that down here. Knicks in game one, 105-95. New York closed the game on 11-0 run, season control late, and still in the whole corner advantage. And then top performers, Jalen Brunson, 30 points, 13 in the fourth quarter. After, like I said, coming back from the leg injuries and whatnot. And then Carl Towns, 18 points, 40 rebounds, key scoring down New York's mid-range. So, game one, like I said, Brunson going out with leg injuries, stuff like that. You didn't, especially knee injury, he went down, and you didn't think, I don't know if he's going to come back or not. But like I said, those role players, Jose Alvarado, Shamet, Deuce McBride, kind of really kept things imperceptive going for them. And, despite him not having his strongest scoring game, Josh Hart played very well in that matchup as well. And I got to brag about him because a lot of times, everybody kind of look at scores and stuff like that, but sometimes those little things happen to, you kind of get lost in that in basketball. For example, like going back to Chet Holmgren, to use him as an example, but if he did other things in that game 7 to kind of pull stream through, I don't think people won't care about the points. But the fact that he didn't score, didn't shoot a lot or barely at all, and didn't score a lot, kind of really factor into the things in there. But Josh Hart, for example, had like 15 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals in game 1. That goes a long way. And he matches up better. This team matches up better with San Antonio compared to OKC. Because OKC runs 2 bigs down low. The Spurs do not. Julian Champagnie is really a small forward. Vassell, small forward. Castle, 2 guard. Of course, De'Aaron Foster, point guard. Carter Bryant. Yeah, about today's NBA series, yeah, he's a 4-man, but he's really a 3-man. But I think the NBA has gotten so small and gone away for the traditional 4 that a lot of these guys that come to the league, they get slotted to the 4 spot, and to kind of hope for the best for these guys. If they ain't built like Eric Gordon, for example, who's like 6'8", but built strong and whatnot, I mean, you really ain't gonna make it like that. So a lot of these teams kind of see like, I will say OG, but OG Onobi, he's a small forward as well. He's a small forward. He's not really a 4-man. If we're being honest. He's a 3. It just so happened that then we had no forwards to play like that. And you're not gonna play Mitchell Robinson and Karl Anthony Towns together like that too much. That he's gonna play the 4. But Josh Hart, played a great game. Mikal Bridges played strong as well. So, and also, mentioned by Julian Champagnie, have really, very strong first half for Julian. But then, like I said, Mitch Johnson got to figure out what to do with him in the second half to kind of get him going and say that retention and stuff like that in the second half. The guy can score. He can shoot the ball. And it's kind of make you wonder why, Daryl Morey let him go on the time Matt McClung for the damn dunk contest. And that should be an honest question that should be asked about. Like, what the hell you were doing the roster construction, dog? That's a legit question to ask Daryl Morey. Like, damn, dog, the roster construction for this team's kind of in cheeks. Put Joel Embiid to the side because that's his own subject. Everything else has kind of been cheeks. Anywho, but like I mentioned about Victor, 26 points, but not his best game. If we're gonna be real, not his best game. Not shot the ball very well, and he came back stronger game 2, which I will bring up right here. No, I thought I had it right here, but let me pull it up real quick. Let's see. But game 2, Cat had a stronger game, all that stuff. I probably had it up right here in my notes. But anyways. But Gomez, game 2, close game through, but say you didn't play Mike Brown didn't play Josh Hart much in that second half. With Andrew Shamet played well, hit key shots, Deuce McBride hitting tough shots as well, and Wemby was doing great things in that fourth quarter. But I think one thing that this hurt them was that outlet pass he's trying to get to Stephon Castle. I think that was kind of like the dagger right there. Well, it was dagger until, Brunson missed the free throw. And then you still had the chance to win. But damn, they had momentum. Wemby was playing very well. They're playing very well in that second half. And then it's like, oh, dude, you just turn the ball over like that. In which you can't blame Wemby because he's still a big man. And he's trying to get the outlet to the guard. And if you want Victor, Victor could have brought it up, but I mean, do you want him daring to do everything and waste all his injury? No. And he could have, took it like a 30-footer, like he did go OKC. He could have done that, but sometimes you gotta get the guard the ball and see what the guard can do. And Stephon Castle got, all these guards got to pay attention on something and be alert in those situations. Like you shouldn't. Let's say this: you should have known that if Victor had the ball like that, they're gonna pressure Victor like that. They're gonna do everything they can to stop Victor like that. They're gonna do everything they can to stop Victor Wembanyama because they've seen what he can do with the ball in late game situations. They can see what he does, and then like Victor had to bring for it, and then next thing you know, they miss a shot and then they get the ball back. And when Victor got the ball against Mitchell Robinson, I mean, he had a good look over Mitchell. I mean, he clears Mitchell. Well, Mitchell's like what, 6'11", 7 foot. So he clears Mitchell, and he had a clean look, and I thought it was gonna go in, but it didn't go in. And the Knicks got the defensive rebound, and then that was it, boy. I was like, damn, down 2-0 like this. And the stat shows that teams going down 2-0 in the NBA Finals do not come back and win the series. And what a hell of a series to come back to tomorrow night in Madison Square Garden. And let me get this out real quick. Probably set my setup for this one. Hopefully no troll shows up, but we always let's see, got it right here. Okay. All right, let's see. No trolls show up in that post. But you got the energy of New York, and Knicks fans, I see the energy on stuff online, all that good stuff, but please don't beat up the folks. Don't beat up your own fans. And don't beat up, if you see a Spurs fan, don't beat them up. Even if they're trolling or not, don't beat them up. Please. Just be civil. You know what I'm saying? Like, I saw a video of Knicks fan, I think in Harlem, they, I guess, shut down the block, had everybody outside and stuff like that. Nice weather, had the screen projector going outside. It's like beautiful setup. People were chilling and vibing and stuff like that. I'm just reading the comments and stuff like that. They don't have things like that much more anymore in New York like that. I saw the video showing the game in Central Park and stuff like that. I had like an old not high school, elementary guy, got a friend I went to school with back in the day. I meant to ask him about the vibes and stuff like that, but he's in Austin right now. So I can't really ask him to get the vibe. I mean, I can, because he probably knows people up there, but get my point. But I kind of want to get the vibes from him. Not like a big sports guy, but just kind of like the vibes of the city. You know what I'm saying? Let me type it. The vibes of the city right now. Like, even if you're not a sports fan or Knicks fan, and we're talking about like 8-9 million people in the biggest city in the world. Like, what's the vibes of the city? Like, how are you feeling as a Knicks fan? New, old, maybe pedestrian. What about you non-sports Knicks fans? How y'all feel about the team winning like this and 2 wins away winning the NBA championship? I think it should be. It should be celebrated. Let's be real. The Knicks only had the Knicks to blame how they were for this the past 20 years. We're going to be real nice about it. Let's be honest about that. Start with ownership, James Dolan, the Dolans, how they handle things, how sensitive younger Dolan is, and how insecure he is about his feelings, and how he operated with this team. You try hiring guys like Scott Layden in the 2000s, and at that time, it looked like a good hire, but it just fell out the bottom real quick. He helped build those Utah teams, and he thought maybe he could turn that around with the Knicks, and it didn't happen. Isaiah Thomas, the multiple coaches coming through, after Jeff Van Gundy, God, let me look. Let me pull that up quick. So after Van Gundy, you talking about I was just trying to get organized. Okay, here we go. So Van Gundy, well, you trying down now, so been Van Gundy. Then I forgot about Don Chaney. Damn, how about that? Don Chaney, Herb Williams, Lenny Wilkins, then Larry Brown. Like Larry Brown was so bad. I saw a video Channing Frye talked about. Was Channing Frye? Yeah, Channing Frye talked about like they had to call the league on multiple times on Larry Brown because how crazy he was. That's how bad it got with the Knicks to that point. And as get to that point, guys like Larry Johnson's gone, Allen Houston, Latrell, Pat, long gone. Guys like that gone. Marcus came in on the Freds, all that stuff. And then, Larry Brown, Isaiah Thomas, who's working the front office as well. And then when things were kind of looking good coaching wise for Isaiah Thomas, he gets in trouble in the front office, and then he was gone. And then you hired D'Antoni, and that was lukewarm, to say the least. And then Mike Woodson, and then I remember reading the story about Mike Woodson when he had the job, and then what's his name? Dolan hired like security dudes to be his detail at all times because he didn't want Mike Woodson talking bad about him behind his back when he's not around the team facilities. That's how Knicks fans. That's how bad things were. Y'all can speak the truth here. That's how bad things were. The roster construction, and then after Woodson, then you bring in Phil Jackson, and that didn't go well. And you paid Phil a lot of money to do nothing really. And you brought in Derek Fisher, that didn't go well. Then Kurt Rambis. I'll say this about Kurt Rambis. He's very good to know. He's like the epitome of if you know people, you can get in good somewhere. That's Kurt Rambis. Jeff Hornacek, David Fisdale, which I thought was going to be a good hire, but it didn't work out. Then Mike Miller, not that Mike Miller, but another Mike Miller. Then Tibbs, and then Dolan didn't like Tibbs too much, and then once he got the green light for a couple of guys to let him go, then he got let go, and then you got Mike Brown right now. So I didn't go about player history and stuff like that. You talk about bringing guys like Penny Hardaway, Stephon Marbury, Eddie Curry, Carmelo Anthony, J.R. Smith, Jerome James, the bad contract, stuff like that, Derrick Rose, the bad trades, giving up on young players like Jamal Crawford and Iman Shumpert, the bad draft picks like guys like Ronaldo Balkman, guys like Frank Williams. other bad draft picks, stuff like that. The French kid that didn't last long than New York Knicks. Not capitalize on Jeremy Lin a little bit better. So it seemed like the Knicks went through a lot of BS before you got to Leon Rose and company running the show. And they done a very good job. I think one thing, if you're a Knicks fan, you gotta hit on those draft picks. I know the draft picks is gonna be few or far between, but you gotta hit on those draft picks to kind of continue the success, because you can't continue kind of trade and stuff like that, all that good stuff to kind of keep things going. Sometimes you gotta draft and develop. Like you're Knicks, you're very fortunate to be where you're at right now. But you gotta look at what I just discussed about the Spurs and OKC. They're built for the draft. They got young legs. You got to keep that in mind. Hell, if you look in your own Eastern Conference, the Celtics, Tatum Brown, draft picks. The Hornets, we'll see how things go about on them for next year, but a lot of draft pick capital there. The Miami Heat, we'll see what they do, how things, but a lot of draft picks there. But they always kind of there, that team that you don't want to face sometimes. The Detroit Pistons, Orlando Magic, a lot of draft pick capital. So, for the Vibes of New York, I hope the Vibes are very well and continue to be well. Which is going to lead me to this last point before I get out of here. What will Donald Trump's presence bring to Game 3 tomorrow night? And it's a legit question. Will Trump, what would it bring to the Garden? A lot of folks saying he's there to go for attention and stuff like that. And mind you, a lot of people forget Donald Trump is a native New Yorker. He is from Queens. So you can't take that away from him, all that stuff. I know he's based out of Florida now because, he's just facing a lot of charges up in New York. But for him, I know he's been in multiple Knicks games, and for him, for him to see the Knicks in this position and potentially win another title before, before his time on this earth ends, can't really. You can't really blame the man to show up to the game. Now, if you're a Knicks fan, I think it's better for y'all he come to this game than compared to Game 4. So if he didn't come, say for example he didn't come in Game 3 and came in, if y'all win Game 3 tomorrow and then he decides to come Game 4, then yeah, he's trying to make it by himself. But I just think it's kind of better to come here this game, y'all win the game, all that stuff, and then Game 4, I don't think he'll be in Game 4 because they win the championship. Then, yeah, be all hell breaks loose, and as old as he is, we want to be caught up on that celebration stuff in the city. Hell no. Be back in DC or Florida for to chill by himself. But real talk, what's his presence going to be like for Game 3? For me, I kind of hate that when I talk about the vibes and stuff in New York right now, you take away the energy away from the Garden. Like you're taking that energy away from the Garden, in which everybody's kind of be feasting off that. You see the videos and stuff like that, the feasting and stuff like that. Now that's kind of be taken away because the Secret Service and the government and the NBA announced that they don't. And nobody's gonna be around Madison Square Garden before or after the game. It's not happening. Like nobody's gonna be around the Garden. I think it's gonna be heavily barricaded around the Central Station, all that stuff. Times Square, all that. It's been so many years I've been in New York, but you get my point. If y'all been in New York, y'all know that area. Like it's gonna be heavily guarded, all that stuff. From the subways, the buildings, all that stuff inside the Garden. They already announced that no bag policy for the fans. So, woo! If you're like a regular and stuff like that, you'd be kind of mad. Like, damn, I can't go in like I used to. They saying like get their game by 3 hours early, TSA checks and all that stuff. Spike Lee always talking about his secret entrance that he used. He probably you better tell his ass getting to the front door. But let's talk about inside though. What's that gonna be like inside? Would he get booed? Would he get cheered? But the tickets like prices as it is going to this game, you talking about a different type of class, and those different type of classes, they vote for dudes like this. We get a nice pop. I don't know. Will somebody try something? I don't know. Probably pay too much money to try something. And plus, if you're a Knicks fan, you probably ain't gonna have this opportunity again. And granted, yeah, you may dislike this man, but like, damn it, any other time I might, but damn it, the Knicks in the finals, I might not see this again. I might have the money next time around if this happens again. So for me, I think the vibes are like this. They'll show them, they'll highlight them, and hopefully they don't show up for the rest of the game. Don't make it about him. Make it about this series. Make it about the Knicks potentially going 3-0 in the NBA Finals. Make it about Victor Wembanyama and the young Spurs. Can they overcome these odds going to Madison Square Garden? Vince Johnson, his first game on the road as an NBA head coach in the NBA Finals, can he overcome the hurdles of that to get his team a win in the NBA Finals? That's what should be the headline. I mean, yeah, he's gonna be there, but that should be the main focus. Show him, but focus on the game. Focus if Victor can have a strong game to put his team at 2-1. Focus if the San Antonio bench could produce something in Game 3 to give their team a chance. Can Landry Shamet, Deuce McBride, and Jose Alvarado continue their strong play going into Game 3? Could Garvey Towns continue his strong play against Wemby going to Game 3? Like I said, it could be a distraction, could not be a distraction. We will see. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Game 3, I just kind of wish that the energy is going to be, it's going to be different with him there. In a sense, it's going to be rabid, but I think the less rabidness is going to be taken out because he's there. If he wasn't there, I think you get the full Knick experience. Now, if they win game 3 tomorrow and they potentially get the sweep, then we're going to see things turn up on Wednesday on game 4. Let me make sure I get my time right on that. Yeah, game 4 on Wednesday. Excuse me. Yes. So, for me, game 3 tomorrow, I got the Spurs winning game 3 tomorrow. Only reason I say I got the Spurs winning game 3, I think Wemby is going to have a strong game. I think this feels like a takeover game for him. I think Dylan Harper and Julian Champagnie. I think Mitch Johnson. I hope he get this figured out, but get Julian Champagnie through the game hot, because that guy can score. Like I said earlier in the show, that guy can score, and I think he gets involved, especially in the second half. And not force feeding the ball, but just give him good open look, stuff like that. I think it'll go a long way for the Spurs to win. I think, for the flip side, for the Knicks to win, continue doing attack Wemby on the drives, or OG and Cat. Josh Hart, I'm not saying score 25 points, but he's got to give you at least 10. He got to give you strong play. And then, like I said about the three guards, they got to play strong as well. They can't come out cold. Between those 3 guys, at least one of them, one can go cold, but the other 2 cannot. And then Mitch Robertson can't get in the foul trouble and play strong defense. I think those ain't happening for the Knicks that can win that game. But I'm thinking Victor Wembanyama is going to come out and have a strong game and announce his presence in this series. And it'll be a close matchup. Having said all that. But this has been our show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in with us on tonight's broadcast. Like I said, if you're new to the show, new to iSports Radio, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the little bell notification. Once we go live every Sunday at 7 Central here, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, you see this face here, you'll see D-Locke's face here. That's D-Locke right there to the right. I'm on the left. So do follow us on YouTube for iSports Radio, and follows on X as well for iSports Radio. And like I said, on Instagram, do follow this page let me check the name right, at Fast Break at IESR. So search that name on Instagram, Fast Break at IESR. Already got 3 videos up discussing some subjects, and many more come down the pike here soon. So do follow us on Instagram as well. On X, Fast Break at IESR. That's Fast Break at IESR. We give live in-game coverage as the game breaks along. Give our thoughts and views. Do follow at D-Locke at Black-813. That's Black-813. He talked about his bugs, about his magic. Once he comes back on here, we'll talk about the new Atlanta Magic hire and see his thoughts on that. So I was trying to weigh on that right there. And do follow me on X/Twitter, where you want to dub it, Spawn4288, on that flip side of things as well. But till then, ladies and gentlemen, next week, could we be talking about sweeping the NBA Finals? Good possibility. Also, around this time next week, we'll see if Caitlin Clark got some act right in her. And also, the NBA draft is right around the corner as well. Got to talk about that and all that good stuff. But till then, ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk to y'all next week. Peace.
Let's go! Lace 'em up! Crowd loud! Lights This is Fast Break, IE Sports Radio. Your direct feed for all that is sports. Tip it off, we're live from the jump. Full court pressure when the baseline thump. NBA nights, WNBA shine. College hoops madness when it's bracket time. Men's game, women's game, every big take. One pass, one steal, one slam. Summer league dream fever, worldwide Olympic gold with the game on the line. From the paint to the three, from the post to college history. Every league, every team. Fast break brings that hardwood dream. Fast break, run the floor, let it fly. Fast break, touch the rim, kiss the sky. Fast break, every league, every take. Davidson, Crooks, and Locke on the break. Fast break, from the court to the street. Fast break, bringing hoops with the heat. IE Sports Radio, locked in. Of course, your direct feed for all that is sports. Dentarius, Locke, locked in. Davidson, Crooks with the courtside spin. Breaking down the stars, the grind, the crown. Fast breaks got the whole game locked down. WNBA battles, NBA lights, college rivalries, tournament nights, FIBA, Olympics, summer league shake. If it's hoops, we got it. Fast break. This is Fast Break.